2020 has been a banner year for Bandai. Not only do they have a 20-meter walking mobile suit in Yokohama, they were also struggling to keep up with demand for their model kits for fans, and on top of that, they also announced and released quite a lot of new products and also product line. But for fans like us, well, it's a different story altogether. I was actually planning to do a best of 2020 Gunpla kits video, but seeing how this year we actually got a lot more premium Bandai versus normal kit releases, it was kind of pointless. So what I'm planning to do in this video is to take a look back in the year that is 2020 for all of us, and also what I thought was the most interesting kits coming up from Bandai in the year of 2020 for both normal and also premium Bandai releases. If you're interested to see a user poll of what they thought were the best kits of 2020, well, Hobbylink Japan did just that. I'll put a link down to the video below so you can see the results of the poll, and they did not actually include anything from the premium Bandai series, so that one will be a very accurate representation for most of us Gunpla fans who are not in the premium Bandai countries. But first, before I get into what I thought were the best premium Bandai kits and also the normal kits, I just want to talk about the year that was 2020, right? 2020 was a very good year for all of us Gunpla fans. I mean, obviously, with the 40th anniversary, Bandai really went all out to make sure that we got what all fans wanted. New refreshed product lines, new product innovations, and also quite a lot of new kits for us to buy from. And I think sometimes, because this year it was quite hectic because of the pandemic and the way, everybody was struggling to get back to work and working from home, trying to establish some form of normalcy in our life, we kind of forgotten that there were so many new kits that's coming out this year, and there was actually surprisingly 3 version car kits just this year alone. So I think that was something that some fans kind of forgotten, that hey, there were actually 3 version car releases this year. It's quite a lot, right? And there were also 4 new perfect grade kits. Okay, it's not really 4 new, but there were 4 perfect grade releases this year, which is 4 more than usual, right? We don't usually see normal or even enhanced or different variations of perfect grade kits being announced or released. But this year alone, we saw 4 perfect grade releases. So those were the 2 things that I thought that was quite interesting. And of course, lastly, a new master grade line, which, to be very frank, was long overdue. Given that how we don't even have enough master grade kits as it is, I think the master grade extreme line is a nice welcome to all of us around the world. Now let's get on to the best premium Bandai kits, starting with the high grade kits. Coming in at number 5, this is the Gundam Unit 4. You probably think that this is a odd choice, but I've always loved how the Unit 4 looked in this original design. But if you have seen the master grade version of this kit, you'll know that how the proportion just looks a little bit weird, and you really need to put in a lot of effort to make the kit look good, especially at a 1:100 scale. But for this guy, coming at 1:144 scale, the overall proportions, part separations, and also colors looks just spot on. And in case you're wondering, why am I picking top 5 for the high grade category? Well, that's because Bandai released over 40 different kits under the high grade line for premium Bandai alone in 2020. So there were a lot of kits to choose from. Number 4, it's the Gundam Geminus 01. This kit looks amazingly different from the original 144 scale kit that it came from, especially when you pair it with the assault booster and the high mobility unit. Wow, this kit just looks really badass. I will probably be getting this if I can manage to locate it one in the market. Coming in at number 3 is the Toad Strider, or should I call it the Toad Strider. It just looks really badass. Quite a lot of weaponry, additional arm on its shoulder. There's a lot of thrusters, there is a fin funnel, the armor as well. The overall kit just looks great, and I hope Bandai will actually make this kit into a 1:100 scale master grade or even a real grade in the near future. My top 2 picks for the high grade line is probably a no-brainer, to be very frank, and I think quite a lot of hardcore Gundam fans, and especially long-time Gundam fans, finally got their hands on a very good looking Advance of Zeta kit. So continuing with the momentum from last year, the TR1 and also the TR6 sitting respectively at number 2 and number 1 on my list for the high grade kits. These are the two kits that I think is a must-have if you're a big Advance of Zeta fans like myself. Obviously, it's a very unique design, and if you've been following my channel for a while now, you will know that the AOZ line has one of the best design that I really adore, and I'll probably be getting these guys once I look at them in the market as well. So there goes my top 5 picks for the best high grade kits under the premium bandai line in 2020. Let me know if you agree with my picks, and if you would like to share your list with me in the comment section below. Moving on to a real grade, top 3 real grade kits from Premium Bandai this year in 2020, and number 3 is the Tall Geese TV anime color version. I'm not sure whether some of you guys out there agree with my pick, but I do think that the Tall Geese anime color looks great. It's simple, but at the same time it looks very elegant. So this is my pick for number 3. Number 2 is actually the Sword Impulse Gundam. I've always loved how the Sword Impulse Gundam looks like, and I've yet to pick up the Master Grade version of that kit so far, but I think I'll probably be getting that kit fairly soon in the near future. But for now, I really dig how detailed and how clean the lines look on the Sword Impulse Gundam. 3,850 yen, not exactly expensive, and it looks really great in terms of part separation and the colors for this kit as well. My number 1 pick for the best real grade kit in 2020 under the premium bandai line is actually the Unicorn Gundam 03 Phoenix narrative version. I know you guys probably would not agree with this decision, but it's my personal favorite. Not only does the kit looks really good, but the reproduction of the gold color for the real grade looks spectacular. Yes, it's gonna be a nightmare in terms of nut marks, but I do think that this kit warrants to be one of the best real grade kits in 2020 under the premium bandai line. Coming at number 3 for Master Grade Premium Bandai 2020 is the Gundam Sandro Endless Wars version. There aren't a lot of kits that really stand out, especially coming in from the Master Grade line this year, even under Premium Bandai, surprisingly. So hopefully Bandai would pay more attention into the Master Grade line in 2021. On number 2, well, it's actually the Gundam Desai Endless Wars version as well, the one with Rosette unit. The kit itself looks really good, and I'm actually a big fan of the Gundam Desai mobile suit itself. Of course, for those of you who have built any mobile suits from the Gundam Wing line, you would notice that the kits are a little bit smaller compared to the other mobile suits in the Gundam universe and franchise. I think it's a little bit too anime accurate. I kind of wish that Bandai would make the kits, especially Master Grade 1/100 scale for the Gundam Wing series and also the F91 series, to be a little bit bigger in scale, but maybe that's just me being unrealistic in my expectation. And coming in at number 1 as my top Master Grade kit pick for 2020 under Premium Bandai is the Testament Gundam. This kit looks superb, and there's already been 2nd and 3rd shipment production schedules for this kit because the demand is just so high. There's already also a bootleg counterfeit version of the Testament Gundam as well, I've seen floating on Facebook itself, but given how the third party design has slightly altered that a little bit, so you may or may not like the different version of the Testament Gundam by the third party producer out there. It's not sanctioned by Bandai, and I still kind of prefer the original version by Bandai here. As I mentioned in the start of my video, the top picks for high grade, master grade, and even real grade under the normal releases is quite a slim picking field. So here you go, my top 3 high grade kits for this year is actually the Messer Type F01. Absolute unit, love how the colors look like and how big this guy is. Second on my list is surprisingly the Bound Dog. I was not expecting this to be a normal release. I'm going to be very frank here. I was actually expecting this kit to be a premium Bandai, but surprise surprise, Bandai decided to release the Bound Dog as a regular release at 5,500 yen. Not exactly cheap, but I applaud Bandai's courage to finally release something that is not a Mono Eye or a Gundam mobile suit. And on my number one list for the best high-grade kits for 2020, as I mentioned earlier, no brainer, and that is the RX-70-2 from the Origin series. Looks amazingly great, good colors, great detail, great articulation. The only thing that it misses out is pretty much parts separation compared to the real grade kit. If you build the real grade RX-70-2, you know that how bad that kit was in terms of how fragile it is, how parts keep falling off. And I would actually recommend getting this kit compared to the real grade, to be very frank. And I actually have this in my collection right now waiting to be built. Coming in for the best real grade kit, well, there's only one real grade kit, Gundam kit, that's been released this year, and I'm not actually gonna pick that because I think that the real grade kits for the entire Evangelion line deserve to be mentioned, and it is my top picks for real grade kits this year. Given how this year is pretty much the year of the Evangelion series, I have to say, if you love building Plumber kits, do give the Evangelion kits series a try. You will be amazed at how great these kits are built, and the articulation, and also the colors and finishing as well. Coming to master grade kits, well, there's only top 2 picks on my list, which is again not a big surprise given how limited and rare master grade kits are now today for Gunpla fans. Number 2 on my list is of course the Gundam Kyrios, and on number 1 for the best master grade kit this year, I have to applaud the Bandai team for this, and that is the Master Grade Extreme Unicorn Gundam version car. It's quite an amazing feat to build a model kit that actually includes the flexible LED system that you can actually still play with, compared to the Gundam based kits that I built before, where after putting in the LED system you can't really play with the kit too much because you might break the ribbon LED system. So the Master Grade Extreme Unicorn Gundam, I hope to see something new for 2021, hopefully, or will they actually part with something entirely different coming up soon. The biggest surprise for the MGEX Unicorn Gundam version car was of course the price. It is very, very close to the Perfect Grade Gundam Unleashed, or Perfect Grade Unleashed, sorry. And that kind of get fans thinking, should I buy a 1/100 scale, absolutely the best unit ever, or should I just spend a little bit more and get a 160 scale PGU Gundam? So that, I guess, depends on how you see it. Some honorable mentions for this year, and that is the Kamen Rider Vigorous Standard line. I absolutely love how Bandai is really dishing out all the new Kamen Rider kits this year. You have your Hibiki, W, Den-O, Kuga Mighty. There's just so many new forms coming out, and they all look amazingly great in that 1:144 scale. I would say that's the right scale. I'm kind of wondering whether Bandai will actually return to the Master Grade Kamen Rider line before, where you have a 1/100 scale, which is a lot bigger compared to the one that you're seeing now, but limited articulation. But of course, that is wishful thinking for now. But I do have to say, in 2020, Kamen Rider fans were really treated to an amazing release of new Kamen Rider kits under the Figuarts standard. And also, don't forget the retro robots. We also had the 160 scale Mazinger Z kit as well. I think old-timer like myself really dig how Bandai is really committing to that line and releasing something that is not I would say it's courageous, right? Because they wouldn't know how many people would still recognize something of a classic franchise like Mazinger Z, but we had a 160 scale Mazinger Z. Hopefully I'll be able to afford the 160 scale Mazinger Z in the future and actually build and customize it. I'm just wondering whether Bandai will actually also give the 160 scale treatment to the other retro robots like the Grandizer as well, and also the other variations of Mazinger too. Also, a big shout out to the entry grade line. I think that one was a big surprise given how value was the kit. 500 plus yen for a kit that has great articulation, pass separation as well. I was actually expecting to build the Zaku entry grade this year, but given how Bandai is at max capacity at their factory, and given how this is the year of the pandemic, they are not really sure how many people will be buying new kits in 2020. Maybe an entry grade Zaku is not too far off the radar So let's hope that 2021 we will get to see more new kits coming out from Bandai. We're also wondering whether Bandai actually shelved any new products that were supposed to be announced and released in 2020 for 2021. And also given that 2021 will be the year of the Olympics for Tokyo, so hopefully we'll get to travel next year and also get to see the Yokohama Mobile Suit Gundam as well. But before I go, I want to say a very big thank you to all of you who follow my channel for all the latest Gunpla news and reviews this year in 2020. It's been a challenging year, even for us here as well. And without you guys, we wouldn't be able to continue our video in this channel. So a very big thank you to all of you who will subscribe and always engaging with us in the comment section below as well. So I hope you guys have a great happy new year and a great start in 2021. So stay safe and I'll see you guys next year. There'll be a new video coming up very soon in 1st March 2021 from our channel as well. So do keep a lookout on something new from our channel. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, stay safe. See you guys soon.